So here we go. It's the Junior Rotax final. Let's take you through the starting grid. Pole position, it's Belgium's Matej Radenkovic. Alongside him, representing Hungary, will be the 2-1-2 of Armand Hamilton. Kenzo Craigie and Timo Jungling make it an all-British row number 2. It's Lebanon and the Netherlands row 3, Christopher El Faghali and Krit Knoren. Knud Nielsen will start from the repair area, but Archie Clark will line up on row 4. Bolowet and Tay Stevens complete the top 10. Joshua Graham and Tino Sidler, row 6. Olivier Jonkers, Hyam Bourguignon, Thomas Min Spearing, Mika van der Parvet, Mikko Manila, Noah Janssen, Thomas Ingram Hill and Thomas Behrman round out the top 20. Alice Mizalskis, Oscar Gucho, Ollie Wise, Nemanja Jovanovic, Zainel Homosani complete the top 25. Luke Kornda will also start from the repair area in the pit lane. Cameron Nelson, Max Cuthbert, Kasper Nissen, Boris Maximov, Tom Strehler, Sebastian Koch, August Reiber, Kasper Schomans, Hamza Al-Fayez and Alberto Kiko Fracassi from Italy round out the 36-strong grid. Oh, and we've got a kart stricken off of the Europalan at turn number 7. Driver trying to get back underway, but it doesn't look like that might be happening. The driver's now trying to pull the kart off of the grass and back onto the circuit. Now that is the 2-4-5. That's France's Oscar Gucho, who manages to get over half the kart onto the circuit and has to go and do it all again because the rear wheels are stuck in the wet grass. So if he does get that thing going, he will be able to catch up to the rest of the grid, as now they are starting to form up. Radenkovic on pole, Hamilton alongside. Then it's Craigie and Jungling, El Faghali, Knoren, Clark, Loet, Stevens. They make their way slowly through the 12th and final corner here at Karting Genk. The red lights on the gantry. Revs rise. Into the tram as we go. The speed increases. Are we ready? Are we steady? The Junior Rotax final starts right now. Good start by Radenkovic as Hamilton keeps it pinned to the outside. Craigie looking for the inside line early doors. Now, Kornda and Nielsen get released through out of turn number 3, and it's a bit of a moment there for Kasper Schomans, whose front axle was up in the air, but he managed to make up a few positions. As Radenkovic leads the field down into turn 7 for the first time. And looks like Kenzo Craigie has dropped down to 4th place behind Timo Jungling. Let's see who is in 3rd position as they come through into turn number 10. So Radenkovic, it's now El Faghali's up to 3rd. Great start by the youngster from Lebanon. Opening lap now being completed. Radenkovic leads the way. Craigie looking to try and slingshot past El Faghali. Jungling was also looking to do the same. As now, oh, that's a brave move there from of all people, Timo Jungling got past Kenzo Craigie and also Christopher El Faghali in the same swoop. Krit Knoren, Bolowet, Tay Stevens, Joshua Graham now up into what will be 9th place. Archie Clark, as we've got a yellow flag at Marshall Post 2, which is now being retracted. But at the moment, it is going to be a battle at the front. Both Matej Radenkovic and Armand Hamilton are leading as sideways under braking into turn 10. That was Timo Jungling, and straight away El Faghali does not hesitate and slides his way past Archie Clark through on the 2.62 of Krit Knoren, who's dropped right back down to the bottom part of the top 10, maybe even out of it. He's down in 10th. There's Joshua Graham looking up the inside of Timo Jungling. He's trying to get through, and he does. Great job there by Joshua Graham, having qualified for the pre-final and the final through the second chance heat. And now he's in a prime position to go for maybe a max of a podium, but that depends on what happens with the two leaders. They are just under 0.3 of a second apart after the opening 2 laps. So more jockeying for position a little bit further back, one of which I saw was Zain El Almossani from the UAE. Oh, dramas there for Boluet. And Joshua Graham is through. That's 4th place for the 298. We'll make that 5th place for the 298 from Argenti Motorsport. Radenkovic still holding on to the race lead. Armand Hamilton is waiting. Thomas Behrman, however, in 15th now. The youngster from Chelmsford in Essex now puts in the fastest lap of the race, 56.987. Joshua Graham, Archie Clark, Boluet and Dave Stevens will now battle over what is 5th place. But Hamilton is now starting to close even further towards the back bumper of Matej Radenkovic. Great move up the inside of Joshua Graham by Archie Clark to now take 5th position. Kenzo Craigie, in the meantime, has got past Christopher El Fagali for 3rd place. It was just under 0.2 after 4 laps of racing, and Armand Hamilton now knows that he's got an opportunity to go for a first win in Europe. And what's more, predominantly, it is a final. Coming up to just under 6 minutes and a half, still remaining on the timer. Radenkovic holding on to the race lead as Armand Hamilton is starting to pick up the pace. Last time around was the fastest lap, and now Radenkovic responds by going only 2 1,000ths quicker. Kenzo Craigie has started to slightly pull away from Christopher El Fagali. Timo Jungling finds himself all the way down in 10th position behind Archie Clark, Joshua Graham, Crick Knorren, Dave Stevens, Boluet. Thomas Behrman is on the move, and he is closing on the 265 from Dan Holland Racing. And Alberto Kiko Fracassi, he has moved from last to 23rd at this moment, and he still can make up more places with just over 5 minutes and 40 still to go. These two have been pulling away quite considerably. Casper Schormans, who was towards the back end of the field, is now nearly halfway through it. Hamza Al-Fayez after the dramas with the incident involving him and Thomas Behrman in the previous lap. And there is a cart stricken. I've just seen a cart stricken. And that is on the inside of the turn number 6 on the Europalan. And that is, oh, hang on a second. That is Zain El Almossani, I'm afraid. The Yazheat Racing Academy driver. It's not been a good one for the youngster. But we have had some penalties issued, and they are as follows. 208, Nemanja Jovanovic has had a 5-second time penalty for breaking the formation with all 4 wheels out of the tram lines. Wrong starting position for the 224 of Boluet, gets a 5-second time penalty. And then the 234 has just been given a 5-second time penalty. That's Max Cuthbert for using the runoff area after the opening lap. So there are battles up and down the order. Joshua Graham now battling away with the likes of Dave Stevens and Crick Norton. Archie Clark, in the meantime, has caught up with the two battling over third place as Christopher El Fagali from Lebanon now in third ahead of the UK's Kenzo Craigie in the 2:44 from Argentine. Casper Schulman's now up into 16th position, whereas Dave Stevens, currently rounding at the top 8, now has the fastest lap of the race, 55.9 seconds. Armand Hamilton is keeping Matej Radenkovic guessing on when he is going to pull the trigger and go past the 296 from Belgium, but it's got to be a confident and full of belief racing move. 3 minutes to go. And there is the move from Archie Clark to get up the inside of Kenzo Craigie. That's now fourth for the KR Sport driver. Archie based out of Towster, not too far outside of the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. 2 minutes 43 still to go. The guessing games continue between Radenkovic and Hamilton. Lap 9 about to be completed. And they have pulled a gap to what is nearly 3.1 seconds ahead of Christopher El Fagali from Lebanon. Archie Clark now in fourth. Kenzo Craigie fifth. There has been a big change because Crick Norton has dropped out of the top 10 and down to 14th. So Dave Stevens, 6th. Joshua Graham, 7th. Followed by Thomas Behrman, Timo Jungling and Thomas Min Spearing. And that makes it 6 drivers from the UK in the top 10. With the Netherlands, Lebanon, Hungary and Belgium also represented out of the, well, that's 5 out of the 30 nations, so 1/6. Nico van der Parvert, in the meantime, has decided to get a little bit quicker and has just put in the fastest lap of the race, 55.651 from the youngster from the Netherlands. So just under a minute and a half remains as there is Van der Parvert, gets up the inside. That is through on Joshua Graham, who's also been passed by Timo Jungling and KR Sports' Thomas Behrman. They make their way through to Archie Clark and Kenzo Craigie through turn number 7 and turn number 8. Armand Hamilton has been close, but not close enough yet to make that race-defining move that could decide who is victorious in the final here in Junior Rotax. We now go on to our penultimate lap. Lap 12 of 13 begins now. Radenkovic still has just under a 4/10 of a second advantage. If Hamilton was about 2/10 off, he might have a better shot at going for a move up the inside of the youngster from Belgium. And we've also had a penalty go the way of the 295 of Zain El Homosani. Well, that's not really going to do any more damage to his race because, unfortunately, the youngster from the UAE has retired. So just 1,360 metres remain to decide who will be the winner of the Junior Rotax final. It is Matej Radenkovic that leads them onto the final lap of the race. Ahead of Armand Hamilton representing Hungary. Third, it's Lebanon's Christopher El Fagali, Archie Clark and Kenzo Craigie rounding at the top 5. But there is a little bit of a change around here. This is the battle with Crick Norton. That's with the likes of Alberto Kiko Fracassi and Olivier Jonkers as the leaders make their way down the Europalan for the final time. And Radenkovic knew that he had to get the jump on everybody else to stay in front and thereby just keep a calm, cool head on young shoulders. Now the final corner beckons of the race meeting for Junior Rotax. And on home soil, it's a Belgium hometown hero. It's Matej Radenkovic that wins in Junior Rotax. Here in the final, ahead of Armand Hamilton, who finishes just under half a second behind. And Lebanon get a top three. Once again, Christopher El Fagali takes P3 in the 2-2-1 from Dan Holland Racing. Archie Clark and Kenzo Craigie round out the top five with 4 different nations represented. Tay Stevens finishes 6th ahead of Timo Jungling. Mika van der Paveret, Thomas Behrman and Boluet round out the top 10. Ryan Bourguignon, Tom Strela, Joshua Graham, Casper Schormans and Thomas Ingram Hill round out the top 10. Alberto Kiko Fracassi, Krik Knoren, Olivier Jonkers. Then we've also got Miko Manila, Noah Janssen, Hamza Al-Fayez finishes in 21st. Great show of sportsmanship between our first and second place drivers in the final. And we've also got the likes of Cameron Nelson, Aras Mijalskis, 23rd ahead of Oscar Gucho. Ollie Wise rounds out the top 25 with Tino Sidler, Boris Maximov, Max Cuthbert, Thomas Minspinin, Kasper Nissen, Sebastian Koch, August Reber, Knud Nielsen, Nemanja Jovanovic and Luke Corner rounding out the 35 that finished all 13 laps, and Zain Homosani unfortunately retiring on lap 5. Any one of a multiple of drivers could be in the running for this race. They came from far and wide, from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Hungary. Some drivers unable to shake their disappointment, some drivers struggling with dramas, especially with the 245 of Oscar Gucho having a spin on the back straight before the start. But with a moment there for one of the JJ Racing drivers coming out of the final corner, the lights went out, we went racing. And Kenzo Craigie looking to assert some kind of stranglehold on at least a top 3 position, but Radenkovic led the way. Joshua Graham and Archie Clark were embroiled in a little battle early on in the race, with a few drivers such as Boluet, Krik Knoren and Dave Stevens also trying to get in with the racing action. Then there was Thomas Ingram Hill getting through on Tino Sidler and the recovering Alberto Kiko Fracassi, who suffered heartache in the pre-final. Then Zain El Homosani, the only driver to retire from the race, would be out on lap number 5. Christopher El Fagali would then battle away with Kenzo Craigie, with the Lebanese driver getting the upper hand on the Brits. And that would be the case for the remainder of the race itself, as the 2-2-1 managed to make sure he got a bit further up the field. And this moment here, which involved Archie Clark and Kenzo Craigie, saw that Archie Clark would move up to 4th position. Krik Knoren would be battling away with Alberto Kiko Fracassi and the 216 of Dams Racing's Olivier Jonkers coming through the final corner. And Jonkers made the best of the situation as he got through on the Italian and the Dutch driver. But Matej Radenkovic, a hometown hero, winning on home soil, took the win by just under half a second from Armand Hamilton. Rounding out the top 5 behind Radenkovic and Hamilton, Christopher El Fagali would keep ahead by just over a 10th ahead of Archie Clark, and Kenzo Craigie, his first European appearance as a junior, would take a top 5 finish. And there is a sign of sportsmanship, of what it means to be a good competitor and a good sportsman